Hi everyone. Are you a mom who is helping her adult child to the point where you're pretty sure it's enabling, but you're not sure if you've crossed that line? Well, today I want to talk about some examples of that and what it looks like. So for those of you that are new here to my channel, I just want to welcome you. My name is Sally Harris, and I am a mom who walked a difficult road with my own daughter for over 10 years. And while her life spiraled, so did mine. And it does not have to be that way. So let's dive into this subject on enablement. So many of us moms, we love and adore our kids. Maybe you started enabling them as they were teenagers. You were doing things for them that they should be doing for themselves. Whether it's packing their lunch or packing their gym clothes or their sports, making sure everything is, everything's all set. I know I used to do that stuff to the degree of, because that way I knew it was getting done. I think that's what a lot of moms do. It was never any ill intent. It wasn't that I didn't want, our children to be able to do things on their own. And there were times where, of course, they did handle things on their own. But a lot of moms just have that fine line and they're not really sure. Is it enabling? Is it not enabling? At what point do I drop this? All of those kinds of questions I get all the time. And so I just want to talk about this and some examples. Financial support, providing financial support is always number one. And everyone thinks that that's the only way you're enabling, right? That's the only way a parent could enable their child. In reality, it's a huge one. It's a big one. It's one that is probably the most common, definitely most commonly talked about. Maybe you're paying their bills, their insurance bills, their cell phone, car payments, rent, these things that they should be doing for themselves. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a time and a place where you're helping your adult kids. But my motto is, I'll help you when you're helping yourself, right? I'm not going to do things for you. And so that's what I share with the moms that I work with. So the financial aspect, they're not learning accountability, first of all. If you're paying their bills, they're not learning the accountability of the responsibility and accountability of having bills, because that's just part of life, right? The next one is, are you covering up or making excuses for them? This is a big one too, because maybe their poor behavior, maybe they made mistakes, maybe they're using drugs, maybe they lost their job, maybe they, are calling in sick when they're really not sick, but they're hungover or something like that. Those types of things, if you are willing to participate and cover things up for them, that's enablement. That is something that, in my opinion, they would need to face head on themselves. Like, they put themselves in that situation, they need to deal with the consequence. Next is failing to enforce consequences of your boundaries. So if you have created these boundaries, they violate them, and then you're not doing anything about it. So that would be a form of enablement as well. And it's so easy to do. So many moms do it. But I promise you, your child, your son or daughter, can read you like a book. So if you've done the boundaries thing, the presentation of boundaries, or these are the expectations, if you want to live here, or I'm going to tolerate this, but I'm not, not going to tolerate that. If you've already had that conversation with your son or daughter, but you never implemented any consequence, if they didn't abide by that, they have your number, right? They are not going to take you serious. So I encourage you that if you are at that point and you are saying, I need to implement these boundaries, but I need to know how to hold strong, I would encourage you to reach out. If you and I have never chatted before, there's a link below to the discovery call, and that is for moms who are ready for change, who are ready to implement something. This is 30 minutes where we have a consultation where I get to learn more about what's going on with you, with your child, but more importantly, how it's affecting you. And enablement is a huge aspect of how it's affecting you, 100%. So if that's you, you can click the link below after the video. But that is a huge one too, because if we're not enforcing consequences, then why are we even saying that we have them, right? So like I said, they have your number. They are not going to take you seriously. So let me know if that is you. Another one is ignoring or downplaying the impact that their behavior is having on you. So, for example, a light one would be maybe they're living in your home, they're adult child, but they're coming home at all hours of the night. and you're not sleeping because they're not home. You don't know where they are. You're concerned. And I don't know about you, when somebody's living in my home, I prefer to have a curfew of some sort, right? Because I don't want to have to worry or stay up all night worrying if they're home, if they're in bed. So that would be another one. So if you're downplaying the impact, so maybe you're just not setting any curfew because you feel, oh, well, they should be able to do what they want. Well, that's enabling too, because it is truly affecting you. That's just an example of the sleep situation, which is also super, super common. And the last one is just allowing them to continue to rely on you for everything. Maybe whether it's emotional support, validation, those kinds of things. And I'm not saying don't be there for your adult child, because 100%, most moms want nothing more than to just love their kids, be a part of their life, but we have to learn how to treat an adult child. It's not the same as treating your teenager. And so just allowing them to rely on you maybe too much, like the expectations that you're always going to babysit, or you're always going to do this or that when, at the drop of a hat, that you're going to drop everything you've got going on, you're going to run to their rescue. That's enablement as well, because you need to set those boundaries for yourself. So just so you have that, set realistic expectations, and just to be kind to one another and respect each other's time and privacy. So enabling definitely leads to burnout for a mom. And sometimes, unfortunately, it even leads to resentment on one or both sides. And sometimes that leads to actually estrangement, which I don't want for you. Maybe you're already there, and I'm not saying this is why you're there. But if you are estranged, sometimes we enable too much, and the resentment can happen on both sides. So I hope that helps you today. I'll see you next time.